Hi, thank you for coming to the weekly training webinar. This is the recorded version of the weekly webinar. My name is Kim Hayes. I am the training and onboarding specialist here at Map My Customers. I have been at Map My Customers since August 2019. I am from Boston, Massachusetts, so I went to Boston College there and currently live in Manhattan. So today I will be walking through some of the topics from both the web and mobile side. We'll be mostly focusing on the mobile side of things. In a typical webinar, participation is done through the Q&A chat, but this is a recorded version, so the Q&A sections are going to be cut off, as well as any section that involves participation. So a quick agenda, again, without any people on this recording, we will not take the quick poll. If you do attend any live versions in the future, we will run a quick poll to cater the agenda of the recording of the webinar to what everybody wants to see. So today we will be covering how to access Map My Customers, how to import data from a spreadsheet, adding new customers manually from the mobile side of things, logging activities and using that big blue check-in button, creating routes, editing routes, and running them, and the different ways that you can use groups in Map My Customers. Again, no Q&A will be held after each section, but there is more participation in the live versions. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this quick poll, and we will go straight into how to access Map My Customers. Map My Customers can be accessed from all of your devices, whether that is your mobile phone or your iPad. Both of these are going to be the mobile application, which you can download from the Google Play Store or from the Apple App Store. The other location that you can access Map My Customers is through your desktop. It is going to be the URL mapmycustomers.me, not .com, and it is going to be the same login as the mobile and the tablet. So you forget your password on your mobile device, you have forgotten it for desktop. So the only desktop topic that we will be covering today is going to be importing data. So importing data is going to let you mass upload spreadsheet data in a CSV format into My Customers, so you don't need to add 50, 100, 1,000 records in a manual way. So first thing we're going to do is go into a quick video on importing spreadsheets. In this video, you'll learn how to use the import portion of Map My Customers. Imports will allow you to bring in all your data at once by importing a spreadsheet of information. To navigate to the Imports page, go to Manage, and then select Imports from the dropdown. It's important that you clean up your data prior to importing into Map My Customers. For some additional resources on data cleanup, please see the Before You Get Started section. Once you're satisfied with the cleanliness of your data, you're going to want to download this as a CSV file. Back in the Map My Customers import page, you can scroll down to I'm ready to import and select what kind of record you're importing, if it's a company, person, or deal, as well as select the file you'd like to import. The last stage is to match your fields. Here you'll see there are different columns. So the first column is column header from your file. The second one is where you will map this into Map My Customers. The third is a preview from the file. And the fourth is a status telling you whether or not this field has been matched. The unique ID portion of Map My Customers is useful for any team or individual who is going to be updating or modifying data in the future using an import. For more information about unique IDs, please reference our import instructions. You'll notice as you start matching your data that some of the information is auto-filled for you. You want to go through and make sure they are mapped appropriately to where you would like the column information to go into Map My Customers. If you have custom fields in your spreadsheet that do not currently exist in Map My Customers, you're going to want to create them prior to the import. To learn more about custom fields, please go to the custom fields video. Once you're satisfied with the way the data has been matched from the spreadsheet to Map My Customers, you can hit continue to next step. And to check on the status of your import, you can hit the blue return to imports button. To see all your historic imports, scroll down to the bottom and check out the import history section. Here you'll be able to see timestamps as well as how many records were created, updated, and if there were any errors during your import. If there are any errors, you can simply download the skip file, which will provide you all the information necessary on why the error occurred, as well as which line it occurred on. To learn more about imports, please go to our support portal. Awesome. From here, we are going to move into our mobile topics. So I'm going to go ahead and share my mobile screen, and we will run through that agenda. So what we're looking at here is the Map My Customers mobile home screen. For some general navigation, the upper left-hand corner is going to open up a side panel that includes all the support resources that you might need. I'm going to go back into these a little bit further at the end of the webinar. The upper right-hand corner includes settings. This is where you can do things such as sync your calendar, change your map defaults from Google Maps to Waze Maps to Apple Maps when you're routing, or turn on things like offline capabilities. Settings is where you'll help make Map My Customers cater to your specific needs. Anywhere in Map My Customers, when you're trying to get back out to the previous page, you'll see a blue arrow in the upper left-hand corner. This is going to take me back to the home screen. From the home screen, I have this search bar right in the top. The search bar is the Map My Customers universal search bar. This will let me search things that exist within Map My Customers. This is not a generic Google search, and this is only going to let me find things that do exist, such as the name of a route, a company name, or maybe a name of a contact at a company. Down below, I have my 4 quick actions, which include opening up routes, using the lead generation tool, opening up my deals, or manually adding an activity. I have my big blue check-in button, which we will go into a little bit further in the webinar, and my activity feed. Down at the bottom, I have my navigation bar. Here, if I click the home button, I will always get back to the home screen. Maps will take me to the view of my companies mapped out on a map as pins. The routes button will take me to that same place as that green route button, and I will be able to see all my historic routes as well as create new routes. And the 4th tab is my record list view. This is the equivalent of my map, just in a list view. I'm going to start with manually adding companies and walking through what a record view looks like. So back on the home screen is where I will land after we do each topic. To manually add a company, this is going to be a scenario if you are driving by a company and you see something that is not someone that you currently work with, so a new prospect or something like that. When I hit the plus button, I'm going to get the options to add one of the 4 Map My Customers objects. A company, again, is a business that I might want to work with. A person is a contact within that company. I can have multiple people attached to an individual company. So if I work with somebody in reception and I also know the owner, as well as somebody on the sales team, all 3 of those people can be associated to my business. A deal is something that you're going to push through an opportunity funnel. So a deal might have something that's in a lead stage, followed by something that's going to be in the qualified stage, and so on and so forth. An activity is something that is going to represent an interaction that I might have with one of the above. So an activity can be associated to a company and a deal. It can be associated to just a person, or it can be associated to all three of the other objects. Again, we will go into companies or activities a little bit further in the webinar. Adding a company manually, I will select on company. I'm going to go ahead and want to add an individual company. Find new companies is going to take me to that same lead generation piece that is on the home screen, that yellow magnifying glass. When I add an individual company, I have my most important details up at the top of my screen. So the company name, the phone number, and the website. I'm going to go ahead and just call this one Kim Company. And then I will go ahead and give it a phone number. Down below, I can select which color this pin is. So if I know my prospects are pink because P and P, if I know my prospects are blue or my customers are green, I might want to color code it now. When I go to type in the address, this is a dynamic address field. So it will either start suggesting addresses for me to select, or I can use this little target geolocation button that you'll see show up a number of times throughout the application. So when I geolocate myself, it's going to pull my current location, and then I can go ahead and save this company. If there's additional fields that I want to capture, maybe I want to add the email or add custom fields that I want to capture within this company, I can open up those with this Show All Field accordion button. You'll see that this will open up those fields, so I can very easily attach an email. I can add this pin to a specific group. So if I know it's a prospect that is on the East Coast, I can go ahead and add those here. Or I can select a custom field that I want to add. So if I know that this prospect looks like they would want product A and product B, I can select those. Custom fields can be created from the settings portion on the web application. Once I'm satisfied with building out this company, I'll go ahead and hit Save Company and get taken back out to the last screen I was on. To see this company again, I can either search it in the search bar from the home screen or just find it in under Records in the list view. When I go to Records, any company that I've most recently added will show up at the top. When I select it, I will now be viewing the record view of this company. Within Record View, I have 3 different columns that I can go into: Activities, Relationships, and Details. Activities has some subcategories. So under Activities, this is where all my activities are going to accumulate as I start adding them. So when I log a meeting or a follow-up phone call, all of those activities will show up right here for me. A company note is something that's going to be stagnant. So that is something like the parking lot is on the west side of the building, or this business is closed on Thursday. Files can be anything from a picture, a video, a PDF, or a quote that I want to add into this specific company record. Under relationships, I can manage any of the kind of interactions that this company is going to have with other objects. Whether I want to add a specific contact, I want to see what groups this company is in, or I want to know what routes this company is a part of. To manage any of these, just select the Manage button next to the object that you want to update. Finally, we have the Details tab. Details is where I can see and edit any information that exists within the company. So here I will see the phone number, PIN color, and any of the custom fields I filled out. I also will be able to see the address information of this specific PIN. That will cover all of the adding of a company record, walking through that record view, and seeing the associations with people and groups. I will now pause and go back to the home screen before we get into our next topic. The next topic we're going to cover is activities. The easiest way to add an activity is going to be using the big blue check-in button. The difference between the check-in button and the add activity button is that the check-in button is going to use geolocation. You want to make sure that your settings within your iPhone or Android device are being shared, your location settings are being shared with Map My Customers in order to be able to use this button. When I select on check-in, this is going to be if I'm walking out of a business that I just interacted with. So if I'm walking out of the business, I will say, great, that was a great meeting. Let me just check in. It's now going to say, are you checking into Kim Company? Because it found that that was the closest business to my current location. If it has found the wrong company because two companies are in the same building or share a parking lot, so they're very close to each other, I might want to hit no view more, which will provide me the list of everything that's within 10 kilometers of me. If this is the company that I want to check into, I'll go ahead and hit confirm company. So I've now checked in, and if I want to take my notes now, I can go ahead and take notes. If maybe I hit the check-in button on my way into the building and I just want to edit them a little bit later, I can hit edit later and then just jot my notes down a little bit after. You'll see down below that my visit is already logged, it's already timestamped, and I'm already going to get credit for that visit. So I do want to go ahead, I'm just going to go in and take my notes now. And it's going to pull up this edit activity fields. The first field is the activity type. This is where I can change whether this was a visit, a lunch, a meeting, or maybe even a Zoom call. This is a drop-down menu, and I can change this from here. It's automatically going to be logged as a visit when it's a check-in. The second activity field is the activity title. This is a free text field that for a check-in is automatically going to be listed as visit and then the name of the company. Any activity that I log on mobile is going to automatically be marked as complete. This means that it assumes that it's going to be completed because on mobile, it assumes I'm in execution mode, whereas on the web version, it automatically marks as incomplete because it assumes you're in pre-planning mode. If I'm creating a follow-up or something like that, that's a scenario where I might want to just turn this off and mark it as incomplete. For now, I'm going to say this was a company I just went into, so I'm marking it as complete. Make visible to team is going to make this a public activity. A public activity means that this activity that I'm logging would be visible to anybody else within my organization who is also on Map My Customers. Down below, I have the notes section. The notes section can be filled out manually by texting, writing in your text, or you can use speech to text functionality. So if I want to use this little microphone down to the left of the space bar, I can very easily go in and say, spoke with Kim about furniture and product B. Once I'm satisfied with my notes that I've written down, I can keep going on from there. You'll notice it's automatically assigned to me as the activity owner, as well as date and timestamp the moment that I hit that check-in button. I can add a duration to this activity if it's important for me to know how long I spent there. A check-in is automatically going to associate to the company that I checked into. And if I have a person to add, I can select them from this dropdown or add a brand new person who might not exist yet within my system. Finally, down at the bottom, I have the ability to save and create a new activity or just save this one activity that I'm going to log for myself. If I want to log a follow-up right after this meeting, so I know that I'm going to follow up on Friday to check in and make sure that everything was good, I will hit save and create. When I hit save and create, it's going to pop up a blank add activity field. When I select on activity type, I'm going to change this to a phone call because I'm going to do a follow-up phone call. You'll see the activity title has automatically changed, and then I'm going to mark this as incomplete because, again, this is something that is for the future. I might want to jot down my notes of what this follow-up is going to entail, or I might just leave it blank. I'll go ahead and change my due date and time to this Friday at 2:30. Finally, you will see that this activity is already associated to the appropriate company because I made it based off of that check-in. If I want to create another follow-up from here, I can keep hitting save and create until I've created a cadence that's good for me. If I want to just save this one activity or this second activity, I'll just go ahead and hit save activity, and I'm going to get taken back to the home screen. From here, you'll see my activities are starting to accumulate in my activity feed. You'll also see if I toggle over to upcoming activities, that call I'm going to make on this Friday is listed there for me. Upcoming activities is going to list any activity that is due within a week's time period. If you say have an activity that's due in September or something that's a few months off, it's not going to show up here until the activity is 7 days out. If I want to see all the activities associated with a specific record, all I have to do is go into that record. So again, back into records, I'll go back into Kim Company, and then I will see my activities have started accumulating under my activities list. To see my notes from that previous activity, so if I go in a month's time and I want to say, okay, well, what happened on my visit on the 30th? I'll just click on this activity name right here, and I'll see, oh, yep, spoke with Kim about furniture and also product B. This is the end of the activity portion. So I'm going to go back out again, blue arrow out, and get back into the home screen right down here in the navigation bar. The next topic we will be covering is routing. Routes can be created from this green routes button or the navigation bar routes. Again, these two buttons will take me to the exact same spot. You'll find that in Mount My Customers, there's often a number of ways to do the exact same action. There's no right or wrong way to do things, and typically it just comes down to preference. That is the same for the mobile versus the web application. Everything that you want to do in mobile can be done on web, and there's only one topic, which is reporting, which can only be done on web and cannot be done on mobile. There is no right or wrong way. If you're somebody who prefers your laptop, then you'll probably live more out of the web application. If you're somebody who always has your phone on you, you'll probably get more comfortable using the mobile application. So again, back into that routing topic, I'm going to hit on this green Open Routes button, and I can see all the historic routes I created for myself. If I created a route that I want to just rerun, I can go ahead and select on that route and just start running it. For the sake of the webinar, I'm going to create a new route. When I hit this blue Add Route button, I will get taken out to my map of the United States. There's three main ways that I like to say people are going to create routes. The first way is somebody who has set appointments that they're going to hit in a specific order. So if you have a 10 a.m. appointment, a 1 p.m. appointment, and then a 3 p.m. appointment, you're going to use this search bar to create that route. When I select on the search bar, I will be able to go in and select the companies that I'd like to add to my route because I have appointments with them that day. Another way that somebody might utilize the routing tool is by using the filters and finding specific pins that are associated to perhaps a custom field, a specific postal code, or a specific state that you might be targeting. So if I go in and hit the filter button, I'm going to be able to add filters such as one for those groups. So if I'm focusing on the East Coast or a specific postal code, if I know I'm targeting that geographic area, or products, so filter down based on a custom field. For this route, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, I'm going to target my East Coast group today. When I go ahead and hit done, I will apply this filter in the upper right-hand corner. And now I will see all my pins that fall into my East Coast group. Not really sure what this one is doing in New Mexico, Doesn't really look like it's the East Coast. So maybe I want to go into that record and edit it. But now I can see, okay, I have some areas in the Northeast area as well as in Florida. I'll go into this Northeast area because I'm currently located in my hometown. When I zoom in here, I will see those 3 pins associated with the East Coast. If I want to go ahead and target these in one specific route because I know I'm traveling up to the East Coast next week, the easiest way to add these pins into your route is going to be using the lasso tool. So when I use the lasso tool right here in the lower left-hand corner, I can go ahead and draw around with my finger around these 3 pins. They're going to highlight as green, and they've been added into my route. When I scroll this panel up by holding down on with my finger and dragging to the top of the screen, I will see the 3 pins that I've added into my route. If I'm satisfied with these 3 pins, I can go ahead and hit build in the upper right-hand corner. Here I'm going to get prompted to name my route. So I'm going to call this East Coast route. Again, you want to name this something that means something to you. So if you're ever going to run an East Coast route, again, you don't really have to reinvent the wheel. You'll have this route already created and you can just go in and run it again. My starting location, maybe I'm starting in an office. Maybe I'm starting from my house or a hotel. So I'm going to say I'm going to start this route from Boston, Massachusetts. Down at the bottom, I have the option to optimize or to run this route in order. Optimize is going to give me the most efficient way to hit these stops. In order, it's going to be if I was that first category of person who has 3 appointments that are set because I have to run it in a specific order. I can't hit my 3 p.m. stop before my 10 a.m. stop. I'm going to optimize this route and I'm going to allot 30 minutes for each stop. That's going to help me create an itinerary for the day. So if I know each stop is going to take me 30 minutes, I'm starting in Boston, looks like I'm ending in Philly. How long is this route going to take me? Is this an efficient route? Will it take me too long to run this? This is going to help me understand that a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and build my route down at the bottom of the screen. And my route has now been created. So I will start in Boston, travel down to Milford, Massachusetts, swing into New York, and end down in Philly. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It's very important that you save your route. Very often people get to this stage and get a little bit excited. They don't want to, they start running their route by hitting the blue arrow, and then their phone dies or they swipe out of Map My Customers and they've accidentally forgotten to save their route. So very important to just make sure you do hit that blue save button. It's going to take me back out, and now I will see my East Coast route. When I select into the East Coast route, I'm going to now be able to start running my route. Again, I'm going to scroll this up by holding it down on my finger and dragging this panel to the top. There's a number of ways to edit your route. We completely understand that outside sales people very often get their day a little bit jumbled up. It doesn't always go as planned. So you want to be able to edit your route as needed. A couple of ways that you can edit the route is by adding pins that are within the area. So if I go ahead and hit edit and I turn off my filter because I don't want it to just be on the East Coast part, I'm going to add some additional pins that might be in my system. When I toggle on show all pins, I can see everything else that is not included into my route. If for say this pin right up here in Harlem kind of looks like it might be on my route and it'd be a good pin to add into my East Coast route, I'm going to go ahead and select on the blue pin and manually add this to my route. Something else I can do to edit my route is rearrange the order. When I drag this up, you'll see I have the option to hit change order. If, for example, dentists on Washington told me I need to meet them a little bit later, I could switch that to a more appropriate time. And now my route is going to re-optimize for itself. I'm going to blue arrow back out, and I'm going to be able to build this route again. And that pin that I've added, those changes I've made are going to be adjusted for. When I scroll this back up, I will see that my new timestamps are 5:30, I will get to the Kim company stop. 9 p.m., I'll get to map my customers, and so forth, given the fact that I'm going to be spending 30 minutes at each of these stops. There are a number of ways to edit this route a little bit further, such as utilizing the lead generation tool and adding additional filters. However, for the sake of this webinar and time, you can find that information in the support portal. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And now I'm going to start running my route. To get to my first stop, all I'm going to do is hit this blue arrow, and I get the options to get directions and log the activity, or get directions and don't log the activity. If I get directions and log the activity, what that's going to do for me is shoot me out to Google Maps or wherever I chose in settings. So if I prefer Waze Maps or I prefer Apple Maps, I'll be able to utilize those other mapping systems. Now, when I select back into Kim Company, you'll see another visit has been logged for 4:50 when I started running my route. When I click into this visit, all I'd have to do is tap Add to take my notes, and I will say, second visit with Kim spoke about XYZ. Again, you'll see I have the option to create a follow-up or just save this activity for myself. I can then blue arrow back out into the company record view and blue arrow out one more time, and I'm back in my route. If I then want to go to my next stop, I can go ahead and hit that blue routing arrow and keep running through my day. That's everything on the routing that we'll cover today. So I'm going to go ahead and back arrow back out and go back into that home screen one more time before we cover our groups topic. So the last topic we're going to cover today is groups. So when I go into the map view of Map My Customers, again, I will see all my pins mapped out. Groups are going to allow you to segment and filter your map appropriately. Like we saw before, I had those groups for prospects. I saw the groups for East Coast, things like that. When I want to filter from this map, very similar to filtering on the routing map, I'm going to hit this symbol right up here, which is the funnel. When I select on that, I have the options again to add a filter. So I can go ahead and add a filter based on group. And I can say, I only want to see everything in my prospect group. When I go ahead and add this filter, I can go ahead and apply it in the upper right-hand corner. And now it's going to whittle my map down from 70 pins to just the 26 pins that are in my prospect group. This is going to be helpful for me if I'm, say, in the area and want to know who's around me. I want to make sure that I'm visualizing and using the map to make sure I don't go into this Miami area for one appointment and then drive by and go home past the 2 other prospects that I could have met with that day. Something else that I can do with groups is utilize them as a call list. When I go into the Groups tab from All Pins to Groups, I will see my groups that already exist. If I know that I am going to call on my prospects because it is the end of the quarter or the beginning of the quarter or whenever I do all my prospecting, if I want to utilize this as a call list, all I have to do is click into this group. And just like running my route, I will just go down and hit this blue phone icon. You can see that I've done webinars before when I've been in my Manhattan apartment, so I have multiple Kim companies that are prospects. To call on this prospect and use the call list, again, I will hit this blue icon. It will give me the option in call and log an activity, call and don't log an activity. When I hit call and log activity, what it's going to do, pull up that phone. This is my cell phone. I will call directly from here. And now when I click into Kim Company in Manhattan, I will see that a call has been logged for myself on March 30th. Very similar to the route again. I will click in, I will tap add and take my notes and say, no answer, left voicemail. I will save this activity. Again, maybe I'll create follow-up. And then I can come back in and go down to the next company, which is Dentists on Washington, and I'll give them a call. You'll see if there's data missing, such as the email information, that is going to be grayed out. So if I'm missing phone numbers or emails, it will show up as gray, but I can know, let me click into Dentist on Washington. I can go into details and let me update that email for myself. So I can go to show all fields, and now I can come in and update this for me. I can go back out again and again. And now again, I am just going to stop back on the home screen. There are a number of other features that I didn't touch upon today, such as the lead generation tool, using deals, and a few other topics. All of this information, if you're curious about it, please feel free to attend one of the live webinars, and we're happy to go through other topics there. Additionally, to go back into those support resources that you have, if you click the Map My Customers logo, you have the ability to go into help articles and videos. In help articles and videos, you can search any topic you're curious about, whether it is on web or on mobile. When I search, say, lead generation, I'm able to get articles on the web app of lead generation, mobile lead generation. So how do I use lead generation to find leads? You will get step-by-step instructions, and where applicable, there is a video. It is me, so don't feel like you can avoid me. By not attending the webinars, you will have lots of videos of me. If you feel like you can't find the information that you're looking for, and you've looked through all the videos, all the articles, or maybe you feel like you're experiencing a bug, you can do a live chat with one of our support team members. When you open this up, it will ask you, hi, what can we help you with today? It is going to be a bot for the first one to make sure we can direct you to the correct place. But once you say, I feel like I'm not seeing my pins on my map, I need help resetting my password, it will go straight to a live agent who will be able to help you during the daily business hours. Please do not hesitate to reach out to the support team, to reach out to us, and to use your support resources. We are here to help you and want to make sure that you have the best experience with Map My Customers that you can. So just going to go ahead and project those resources for you. So those, again, can be accessed via email, via the Get Help chat, or through the support portal. Thank you so much for watching this webinar, for coming and learning about Map My Customers. We are happy to have you and really want to make sure that you guys get the most out of this tool. So again, please feel free to sign up for one of the live webinars and meet me in person, sort of, or just use our support resources. Thank you.